Hello, episode 83. What's up? What's going on? God damn it. I just can't do two of these things in a month. A lot of shit going on. So I didn't get that second one in June. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Come Lose It with Matt Duncan. I am your host. If you are, getting a little overwhelmed with work, you're losing your fucking mind, you're eating a bit too many cookie here and there. You're looking for that sugar snippet to put down your gullet just to get a little bit of joy in your hard work day. Do not be down on yourself. Tomorrow is another day, and that's what this podcast is all about. We're just trying to do our best. Yeah, maybe I am trying to lose weight. That's always the goal. Has been for damn near 10 fucking years. This podcast is the longest, most unsuccessful health and fitness podcast. It doesn't help that we are one of the only pro fast food fitness podcast in the biz. Heads up, McDonald's is back with the Grand Mac for a limited time. Now, I ate this burger, and if you go back to a past episode, I gave a review on the Grand Mac, and it was too much. I don't get it. I would honestly rather go with a double Big Mac than this big fucking thing. Stop fucking with the Big Mac. The Big Mac is fine. It doesn't need all these different iterations. I've said this before, okay? Just leave that one alone. Do what you want to the fucking cheeseburger. Do what you want to the filet of fish. Leave the fucking Big Mac alone. God damn, I've been working my ass off. I'll get to that in the fitness update because it has affected my ability to work out. To get that urge to, I have such a hard time getting started at working out at the beginning of the day. I like to work out late. I don't know. Something about after work. It's like I'm releasing the toxins of the work day that build up. My legs are fucking killing me from sitting. I got to stand. I got the stand desk going again. God, it's just, we'll get to it. We'll get to it because there's too much shit in the opening turd to go through. So much shit has happened in the last month. Big things in the States. Roe versus Wade got overturned. They always said it was going to probably happen with all these conservative Supreme Court judges, and it finally fucking happened. And you are seeing America starting to just strip away people's rights left and right. They're coming for women's rights. They're already talking about gay rights. They're going to take away fucking marriage. They're going to probably make sodomy fucking illegal again. So they're going to be throwing gay men in fucking jail. It's a real shit show in that country. And I don't think they got a fucking chance to clear the cloud until that fucking Donald Trump has a stroke, dies, something takes away his voice box, his ability to type. Because this guy is he doesn't even have Twitter anymore. But he's still got a fucking voice. He's still stirring shit up with his dumb fucking followers. God damn it. And what did I say in the last pod? Did you listen to me when I said that the future of the states is splitting apart? And sure enough, a survey came out from a bunch of states saying that they would be better off leaving the states and becoming their own country. And these are states that rely heavily on government funding. So what makes them think, maybe in a spiritual way, they think they would be better? We'd all be better if we weren't in these, political prisms and prisons. But you got to have your own resources. You're going to have to import, export stuff in and out of your state. You're not going to have the gigantic United States government that prints money to send you so that you can, pave your fucking roads and shit. It's just a fucking mess. It's a fun house. America is a fun house. And I love fun houses. I love to go when I'm at a fucking fair or a carnival. I like a fun house. I like to go and look in the mirrors. I like to get freaked out and lost. Some of them are beautiful, but it's still a fucking fun house, and it's scary sometimes. It's a mix of scary and fun, and that is what America is. It's always going to be a fun house for me to visit. That's what it's always going to be, because you ain't got your shit together. You ain't got your shit together, America. And they got like this we're desensitized by this war going on in Ukraine. Now it's just like, oh, what did they bomb today? You know, we're just flying past headlines now. Like, well, I guess this is just something we're used to now. Until the fucking Ukrainian president is like assassinated, then maybe something will happen. But it's this, you can feel it's this very sensitive situation between all the countries. You know, there's a lot of posturing. There's the Russians, and they're meeting with the Chinese, and that's not a good sign. You don't want those two fucking talking about allegiances and shit. It's not good. You got fucking Brittany Griner, a WNBA star from the USA, fucking in prison in Russia. She's going to play basketball, and she's fucking got caught with some fucking CBD oil vape. Now she's going to face 10 years in jail. Like that shit, it should be a fine. That's all political fucking play. That's a political play. And, you know, if you listen to the Confederacy of Dunks, that's my other podcast. That's a podcast that I produce, which is a Raptors podcast. Go to raptorsrepublic.com. You can go to dunkspodcast.com to listen. You know, we're on a bigger network now. In every episode, we're talking about Brittany Griner off the top. You know, the host, Freddie, he's got his own WNBA podcast called The Pickup, which is another thing if you want to get into the WNBA. Listen to his pod. That's another plug for him. But they got to talk about Brittany Griner all the time, because she's just going to be forgot about in Russia. If she gets a 10-year sentence in Russia, she might not get the fuck out of there. She might not come home. So, you know, lots of fucked up shit going on. Lots of fucked up shit. Boris Johnson. Holy fuck, that fucking guy. I can't believe he got 3 years as prime minister. That's an amazing feat that guy was prime minister of the UK for 3 fucking years. That guy was the dumbest looking. He just looked like he was there to just fuck with shit, you know? He didn't want to really do anything. He just wanted to be a goofball. He said hasta la vista baby when he fucking resigned. Like, what the fuck? You don't really think of Britain have, you know, they've got stuffy conservative leaders and stuff. You don't see them going the full Trump way with like a Boris Johnson clown, Trump clown, same fucking vein, you know. But now, you know, this populist shit, and I don't really know if Boris Johnson falls under the populist thing, but we got this fucking Pierre Poilievre. I didn't know anything about this fucking guy. And now he's running for the conservative leadership in Canada. This is for my American listeners. We have a conservative party. He wants to be the leader of the fucking country. And he's full on like, he's like a Jolt Cola of populism. He's doing all the bullshit, just trying to get people stirred up. So showing that he's a man of the people. And he's so full of fucking shit. He knows what he's doing. He knows what the fuck he's doing, what he needs to do. I really hope it doesn't come down to an election where we have to fucking vote against this guy. Like, if he becomes the prime minister, it's gonna be a fucking shit show, a fucking Trumpy, but on Jolt Cola shit show. The last part of this goddamn opening, fucking turd. The fucking Plug Master General. The Plug Master General, he's pissing me off more than fucking Kim Jong-un. If you go back to the 2017 pods when I was freaked out about Kim Jong-un, I'm freaked out about this fucking idiot. Okay, because he's now pulled out of buying Twitter. Twitter's suing him for pulling out of the deal. And he, you know, he's been doing all this weird crypto shit. I talked about the last one where he's being sued for, you know, the Dogecoin shit, you know, like him pumping it up and everything. And he's getting sued for billions for that. And then he came out and was like, oh, you can buy Teslas with Bitcoin. You know, I'm all about the Bitcoin, buy it with Bitcoin. And then now the company sold 75% of their Bitcoin, all the Bitcoin that they got for cars. So they've sold that shit at a loss because they definitely got those cars back when it was like 74,000 Bitcoin. And he's selling it at like 13 or 20 or whatever the fuck. It's not good, all right? I've got a little piece in Bitcoin, and I refuse to sell until it goes back up to where it was because all these know-it-alls seem to say that it will one day, but it might be a long game. So once it gets back up, once I get my shit back up, because I don't like to lose money. I don't like any of this stock shit. I think it's all a fucking joke if you ask me. I think there was a reason when I was in high school and I took fucking grade 12 economics that I just fucking couldn't pay attention to it. That I just didn't have an interest in it. You know, I think it's all fucking bullshit. It's all fucking bullshit. It's just another fucking lottery machine. You know, you just gotta get lucky. You gotta fucking do this. You gotta short it. You gotta be like, I'm fucking give a shit. Okay, put it under my pillow. I'll put it under my pillow and I'll wait for the tooth fairy. That's what I'm gonna fucking do. I'll fuck up the tooth fairy. Put money under it. No teeth, just money. Fuck up the whole thing. But fucking the plug master, he's also on this whole thing now where he wants to like repopulate Earth with his spawn. He's had 10 kids now. He's fucking having surrogates with Grimes. He's having twins with executives at his office. He thinks that, you know, and the birth rate is down. He's right about that. The birth rate is down. That is a problem for the civilization because we are not having kids like we used to. There's a huge decline on the birth rate. But I think because it's like people like me that are like, what? Just bring kids into this world? So like him, who's a shit dad, one of his kids was waiting to the day that they turned 18, changed their gender, changed their name, wanted nothing to do with him. The richest man in the world is this person's dad, and they want nothing to do with him. And this guy just keeps pumping him out because he's like, there's nobody on Mars. Listen to me. Listen to me before we get to the birthdays here. The majority of people do not want to fucking go to Mars. There is nothing enticing about living on Mars. It's a smaller planet. You can't breathe outside. There are no resources. So you are at the mercy of the shit that you bring with you. And let me tell you something. Maybe I am the right person because if you ask my friends, me and my wife, we bring a lot of shit wherever we go. We come, you invite us over, we can set up a community in your backyard. So we would be able to do it. We could at least be consultants in some of the things that you would need to bring. But the that feeling that you're there and you could never take a fresh breath of air, you're in that airport, you're in that fucking airplane recycled fart air for the rest of your life. And this fucking idiot thinks that he wants to waste money. He wants to expel fuel with his rockets and tests and everything to send a fucking, like, can you imagine the shit show, that first flight of people going, if they even made it to Mars, if they even made it, what shit show it would be on those Zoom calls. It'd be like a week. There'd be one guy be like, yeah, I killed everyone. I don't know if it's these recycled farts. You know, I just can't get a fresh breath here on Mars. I'd love to come back. I know I'm going to die here. So yeah, I killed everyone. I ate them. It's going to it'd be a mess. And fuck, I do not want to go there with Elon Musk. Because I'm going to have to probably be his fucking plug doctor. I'm going to have to fucking be the guy that, you know, tapes his roots in or whatever the fuck the process is for it. I don't know. He's going to need a plug doctor. He's not going to go bald on Mars. He ain't going bald on Mars. And if you saw that picture of him, and look, we're not fat shaming. We're not body shaming on this podcast. It's Come Lose It with Matt Duncan. We don't do that here. You know I'm sensitive to that stuff. You know I have body dysmorphia. But if you see that picture of that hairless, pale plug, there's no way that that guy's human. That is an alien that squeezes his way into some weird corpse. Like, there's nothing about Elon Musk that feels human to me. The way he talks, I I can't fucking deal with him anymore. I can't do it, but I will. Because if it weren't for the birthdays, what are we celebrating? Oh, that's not it. That's not it, folks. This is it. Okay. Everybody calm down. Calm down. Paul Wesley is 40. Yes. Vampire Diaries, Paul Wesley, 40 years old. Happy birthday, sir. Woody Harrelson. God, what a career he's had. He's 61. Smoking that weed. He's smoking that weed. I've heard some stories of Woody Harrelson, someone that worked with him when he did a show. He did like some play or something in Toronto, and he was just absolutely zonked at a Leaf game. Someone who worked with him on a production, he was fucking. He drinks too. He'll drink. He's not just a weed guy. He's a vegan, and he wears hemp and all this shit, but he can toss back some drinks and smoke some weed. And I think he's big into the edibles now. I think he's, as what happens with a lot of old stoners. Catherine Hahn, 49. You know her. She's she did that meme where she does a wink. That beautiful meme wink. She's done some shows. She's very good. I've seen her around. She's great. Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter. He's only 33. God, it's kind of crazy. I feel like we got I like Daniel Radcliffe. He was that farting corpse, that movie, I feel like that really showed some range, him farting as a dead corpse. The great Phil Hoffman would have been 55 today. God damn, he died 8 years ago. Phil Seymour Hoffman, one of the greats. Fucking drugs got him. God damn that heroin. Marlon Wayans. Well, if you ask me in high school, Marlon Wayans, now 50, one of the funniest people alive. Those goddamn scary movies. You're in high school, you're smoking weed for the first time, and you're going to see Scary Movie. You can't laugh harder, folks. You can't fucking laugh harder. This is going to be big for the fans. Eric LaSalle, you remember him. He's 60. He's from ER. He always had some cool earrings dangling from his ears. He's a real big, fan of the earrings, I would imagine. I love a fan of earring. You a fan of earring? Dad wouldn't let me get one when I was a kid. Edie McClurg. Oh my God, if you see the picture of this woman, I just remember from Ferris Bueller's Days Off. I thought she died. She didn't die. She's still alive. She's 77. Edie McClurg. She's the one that was the receptionist. She's like, he's a righteous stooge. He's a righteous dude. Did she say something like that? He's a righteous dude. She's Edie McClurg. I just love her name. I'm so glad that's she just really matches the picture, Bert Convy. He died a long time ago. Look, he would have been 89, but he got sick. He's one of the guys that was the host of Password and the Match Game and all that shit. And it was this day 29 years ago that Coneheads came out. 1993, Coneheads came out on July the 23rd. Hot summer flick. And now that I'm looking at this fucking picture of these fucking Coneheads, I'll just say, just before I wrap up the birthday shit, it's making me a bit sick. I don't know what's going on with me. I'm starting to gag about shit a lot more now. Now that I'm getting closer to my 40s, I'm gagging about shit. Maybe it's these fucking COVID tests I'm taking all the time. And I'm sticking them in, and I'm gagging. I'm doing the throat thing, and it's making me gag. But I'm looking at these fucking Coneheads, the poster for this movie, and I remember he's got a little mole on his fucking cone, and he's wasn't he rubbing? Someone was rubbing oil on their cone. Oh, fuck! It makes me sick. It's making me fucking sick. Just the thought of it. These fucking gross cones, and they made them more realistic, where they have a vein running up the fucking cone. I'm gonna be fucking sick.
Fitness update.
Sorry if I grossed you out about the fucking Coneheads, but I can't look at them. I fucking can't look at them. Boy, what are they going to do for the 30th anniversary? What are they going to do? I don't think Connie still works. She played the daughter. She's also Dazed and Confused. I read the autobiography or it's not an autobiography, but it's the type of biography that it's just a snippets on different chapters and stuff like that. I love that shit. That's like great for ADD brains. And it didn't sound like she had the greatest time making that movie. Seems like Parker Posey. It didn't really get along with her. Anyway, we're moving on to the fitness update, guys. It's been, oh, God. I feel like that guy in Wild Wild Country. Have you watched that doc about the fucking cult, the fucking commune that went out to Oregon and they built this big, it was like a sex cult pretty much, but they built this big town for themselves out in the middle of Oregon. And this one guy that was like high up in it, he looks like Stephen King. And yeah, I just remember in that movie, he's talking about how like he's working, he was a lawyer. I think he was the lawyer for the fucking weirdos. And he was talking about how fucking exhausted he was by work. And that is what I am. Maybe I need to join a commune. Me and my wife need to join a fucking commune. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Because the amount of work I've had to deal with. Look, I like making money. I love it. And I'd rather be busy than not busy. But man, I don't want to. When you're in this busyness, when you're in this goddamn hurricane of work, you start to think like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to work like this. This ain't the dream. What the fuck am I doing? I got to figure this shit out because, I can't do this in my 40s. I can't continue with this mode. As you know, I'm going through some big changes now career-wise. It doesn't look like, the acting thing is going to continue on the way it has. Once we go back inside for auditions, I ain't going. You know that. I've talked about it here. If the agents listen to my pod, they would know that too. I got a self-tape I got to do after this podcast. And, it's like there's all this fucking union bashing and shit going on. There's agencies that aren't dealing with the union right now. A lot of actors are just not getting any opportunity to work. The auditions have been very, very cold through the summer. Very, very few. But I am at the end of that rope, man. And God bless the actors that can keep going. God bless the guys that I compete with that are in their mid 40s and late 40s. And they're still grinding it out in Canada. Trying to get them small roles. Trying to get them commercials. Just trying to earn whatever extra money they can. While at the same time, their soul is draining out of their ass. That's where it goes. And you got to constantly keep scooping it back up into your ass, your soul, if you're going to keep that Canadian entertainment buzz going. And I don't have it. My soul's gray now from the amount of door slamming I've put my head through. Put my head through a lot of fucking door slamming, folks. But anyways, the fitness update, there's not much to report back other than I got to somehow start my day with this shit. Maybe I'll feel better. I got to get on the bike. I'm going to work out today. I'm going to work out tomorrow. Because I hate that I've slid off. I was on such a good roll with exercise. I was doing at least 3 times a week. At least 3 times. And now it's like, I'm lucky if I get 2 in. Lucky. Like, I don't think I've worked out since Sunday. It fucking sucks, man, because it's not even about seeing the changes. It's just the feel. It's getting the blood flowing. It's getting the endorphins flowing. It's just, that's what's the most important part. So you know what? Don't wait in your day. Don't wait. Just fucking get to it. Do something. Go for a walk. It's all bullshit. Do whatever makes you happy. But don't get lost. As I've said many times on this podcast, it is a bit of a heat wave right now. But if you just go for a walk, it's going to make a huge goddamn difference on your fucking life. So I'm going to, you know what? I'm not going to come down hard on me. I'm just going to say that it's not where I want it to be right now, fitness wise. Hasn't been for a couple of months, but I'm going to get back there. I'm going to just try to make little incremental changes to get back into a routine that can maybe help me to, compartmentalize the stress of having all this fucking work driving me fucking crazy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying.
Health news. News that is health related.
Okay, we got some fucking health news here, guys. We got a few things. I won't spend too long on it, but the first one that I wanted to talk about, I feel like we need to do this reminder every once in a while. You know, diets are bad. They are in their, you know, and if you're cutting out some bad processed food and stuff, that's good. But like when you're cutting out a nutrient, always bad, always bad. And in this one, I just read this article about how, you know, people are still doing the low carb, no carb diet. They're getting like exercise flu because they don't have enough carbs in their body to like help recover and stuff. And you get sick after you work out. And I swear, don't worry, I get enough carbs. But I think what pisses me off, because every once in a while I see that fucking idiot Jordan Peterson. This fucking Jordan Peterson, oh my God. So he's someone who doesn't eat carbs. All he eats is meat, right? And he got really sick. He almost died. Obviously because he wasn't getting the right amount of nutrients. He won't say that though. He's fully against carbs. He says it's like a miracle worker for all his ailments, although he almost fucking died. I don't understand the low carb shit, you know? You need carbs. It's something that I've known since I took like fucking anatomy in high school. They're the body's main source of fuel. So if you reduce your carb intake significantly, you're likely to notice a depletion in your energy levels, right? You got to have carbs. It can like give you brain fog because your brain needs glucose and the glucose gets broken down from carbs. So you might find you're in a bad mood. You might be struggling to concentrate. In this article here, it says consuming carbs alongside protein helps to support the production of tryptophan, which is then converted into serotonin, also known as the happy hormone. Get your carbs mostly from whole grains, fruits, and vegetables, as these provide fiber and essential nutrients to support overall health and mental well-being. Okay, so one thing I will talk about health-wise too is, look, I love dates all of a sudden. I fucking love them. They look disgusting, but you know, they're delicious. You rip them open, you take that pit out, and you got this like sugary caramel flavored, you know, raisin, really giant raisin. It's just, you know, and I went a long time hating raisins and shit like that. Now I'm good with it. But I've been eating these dates, and I bought them in, you know, my friend Billy Hoosh, the podcast, he got me some dates a while ago that I finished, but they were from Iran. They were like legit, and they didn't have a ton of the health information stuff on them. So I got one, you know, the more from like fucking Longo's or whatever in a box, and I didn't realize that like one date has 13 grams of sugar. One day I had like 8 dates. And then I was like all freaked out. I'm like, oh shit, like that's so much sugar. Like you're not supposed to have that much sugar. You're supposed to have like 25 grams of sugar a day or something. Isn't that what the fucking whole thing is? I don't know. It's not a lot though. That's 2 dates. 2 dates for your whole day of sugar. Okay. Like oh my God. Like I feel like I don't need a lot of sugar, but maybe I do. Because I don't eat candy and shit. But I obviously get it from yogurt and I get it from these dates, and you know, but they're fucking so good for you. They've got tons of fiber. They've got antioxidants. They've got some, like, dates are fucking great for you. So and because it's not processed sugar, I think it's a little different. And from the research that I've done on dates, didn't mean to get into a date talk here, but you know, it just came up. Sorry, folks, but diabetics like to eat dates because it has a low glycemic index, and that means they can control their sugar and stuff better. So like diabetics actually are told to eat dates. So I love dates, and I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to eat 8 a day, but I will, you know, I will have a couple. Maybe post-workout. That'd be a good post-workout. You need a little sugar, a little fibe. fuck. It's just, they're so delicious. So yeah, like Jordan Peterson, you got to fucking eat your carbs, man. You got to get some carbs in you. I don't understand all these guys that are like only eating meat. Like I saw that fucking, there's like one of those guys that, you know, is super ripped and only eats meat, and these fucking yoo-hoos on the Instagram reels and shit. And like, he says he doesn't even have to wipe his ass. He doesn't even have to wipe his ass after he shits because he doesn't eat any fiber. It's like, that guy's definitely caked his pants more than once. Eating no fiber. Jesus. Next up, folks. What do we got? Now, this is an interesting one. This is something that I've battled with my wife with for years, and that is being exposed to light while you're sleeping bad for your health. And I found this article on CNN. I'll post a link to it so you can read it as well. But it says exposure to any light during sleep is linked to obesity, serious health issues. Even dim light can disrupt sleep, raising the risk of serious health issues in older adults. And yeah, so, you know, like we spent many years in a relationship where she liked to wake up to light, you know, so we had very light colored blinds and stuff. And where our old place in Toronto, it was just like you got fucking hit in the morning with light. Once that sun's up, that room, it was lit, right? And then, you know, we moved here. We got like heavier blinds and curtains and stuff so we could make it really dark in here. And something changed to my wife. I don't know what the fuck, but all of a sudden she was like, I don't know if I'm getting a good enough sleep because of the light. That, you know, by the time 6:37 in the morning or 5:30, whatever, the sun comes up, it's starting to hit your eyelids and it's starting to fuck with your sleep. And you might say like, well, it's time for you to get up, Matt. Well, some people don't fucking go to bed at 8 and get up at fucking 5 or whatever. Like everyone's on a different schedule. I ain't on that schedule, folks. There's nothing wrong with that. I ain't a day napper for all you early risers. I know you got to have like 2-3 naps in a fucking day. I don't like that. I don't like... that feels too chaotic to me. Naps feel chaotic. Every time I take a nap, I feel weird when I wake up. You know, like I had to take one this week because I was just so fucking exhausted from the work that I was up so late and I had to get up. You know, like I had to do it. I had to do it one day, but it's fucking rare for me. It's fucking rare. Don't like the nap lifestyle. So anyway, they did some studies. Showed that like having any kind of light on, and like the problem with us is that we leave the TV on, but we do put on all these sleep timers and shit so that it does turn off. So it's not on all night ever. Usually only like 30 minutes into our sleep, maybe. But like it can, if you have these lights on, or if you have the, you know, TV light, anything like that, it can like raise your heart rate. It can fuck with your like blood sugar levels. So we're in the pitch black now, not because of this article, but we have been for a while. And we're even to the point where we're like, you know, my wife's got sensitivities to just even the little tiny lights and TVs and shit like that. We got to cover all that shit up. And it's very frustrating because we bought a TV for the bedroom that was cheaper, but the TV light, the standby light, is fucking white. It's a white standby light. Look, what the why would they do that? Why wouldn't they make it red? Why wouldn't they make it blue? Why would they pick white? You know? Is that really where you're saving money on the cheap TV? I mean, it's still like $400 for a 55-inch. Why you gotta make it fucking white? Why can't you just even tint the fucking glass that the bulb is behind? Whatever. So what we gotta do, I don't want to get too complicated here, but we have a timer that just shuts, it like pulls the plug on the TV at a point. So we use the Hue stuff, and we got a Hue plug. It's plugged into the TV. We set a timer on the fucking Hue thing, and then it just shuts the TV. It pulls the plug, pulls the power. Boom. I got warranties on the TV up to yin yang. So if something happens with this, it's so far so good. Doesn't really do anything. And then we're in total darkness. So I know a lot of people that don't sleep in like complete black darkness. And, you know, this study is kind of showing that maybe you need to rethink that. Maybe it's better for your health. You can get up at whatever fucking time you want. I don't care if you get up at 5. I don't care if you get up before sunrise, but maybe you need to fucking get those curtains shut until you can get up and start your day. Set your alarm, get your ass up, sleep in the fucking dark. Okay? Last thing about the fucking health news. I know this is a bit of a longer one today. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. We're almost at that other shit. So the Peloton, you know I love to give you those Peloton updates. You know I live for them Peloton updates. What did I say? What have I said through this pandemic on this podcast? I knew this shit wasn't going to last. They are so fucked up. They've had the bad press. They had the fucking Chris Noth commercial they had to pull because he was like accused of rape and all this shit. You got these expensive exercise bikes. You know, during the pandemic, nobody was going to gyms. It was just the right time, but it was not sustainable. Now the market is saturated with these bikes. Peloton was going to open their own factory in Ohio to manufacture these things. Keep it up, right? Because they were going to just keep pushing these things out, but it's not happening anymore. They're pulling out of that. And now any bike that they make, they're not making themselves. So they're probably going for that. They're going for that China dip. Just like my Fitodo exercise bike. Just to do I don't know. Hey, I love my exercise bike, but it is one bullshit looking thing. They jazzed up a cheap bike. You know, I mean, to a certain extent, they're all the same. But I don't have a screen or anything like this. I could put an iPad on it. There's a holder for an iPad. I can pay the $40 or whatever it is a month for Peloton subscription. That's the thing. The bike is to get you in, but they really need you to get on those subscriptions. And it's not even like you got to use it all the time because people are so used to it's a long tradition of people with gym memberships to have the membership and to not use it. And like, that's what's most important for people with Peloton, for the people that work there. They need you to get that. Even if you don't use it, they want you paying for that goddamn subscription. And it's just going to be interesting to see what happens. What's going to happen? Like, are they going to stop? Like, it seems like they're not getting as many instructors and stuff anymore. Like, eventually they're going to be let go. Maybe the instructors are going to go to other companies and work for third-party apps and stuff. And then Peloton is going to have to open up and be like, you can, use whatever fucking app on those screens. Turn it into a goddamn Apple TV. I don't fucking know. Their stock crashed. They've suspended their production. The treadmill killed a kid. They're in trouble. They're in trouble. We're getting closer to seeing them motherfuckers at a garage sale for $200 fucking bucks. Welcome to the last part of the podcast episode, All That Other Shit. This is where I talk about whatever the fuck I want. It doesn't have to be health. It can be entertainment. It could be whatever, So it's kind of like what I do in the opening turd. I jam as much as I fucking can into these 45 minutes or 50 minutes, okay? Especially when I'm not staying consistent on my episodes. I've had a little bit of an uptick right now in the episodes because I submitted it for a podcast award. Some podcast, I don't even know what it is really, but I submit it every year. And this is a podcast. I don't promote this podcast. That's not what this podcast is about. This has found people in the America. It has found people in the South America. It has found people in Ireland and Russia, South Africa, and the UK and Germany. Okay, this is an international pod. If you found it, you're lucky. Okay, I think it's fun enough to listen to for something that's never getting promoted, I got different reasons for that. Some personal that I don't want to tell you about, and the ones that I have told you about. And anyway, this is the other shit portion. And it's going to be more entertainment based for this one, okay? This week I finally, I was up early, had some time before work started, and I was like, you know what? I've been putting this off until, since the beginning of Netflix. I remember when I first got a shitty Canadian Netflix account. I remember how fucking terrible the catalog was at the beginning of the Canadian Netflix experience. I don't know if you remember that, Canadian people, but it was fucking brutal. But one of the movies that was on there first that caught my eye that I added to that list was Taxi Driver. And some 12, 13 years later, I had not watched that movie. It's been on Netflix. They've pulled it off, then they put it back on. And I finally watched it. I finally watched Taxi Driver. I was like, I got to get this out. I don't want to watch it when Martin Scorsese is dead. I want to see while he's still alive. He's getting up there, Marty. We're going to lose Marty eventually. Weird to see that he had like a cameo in it, which he was like kind of good. I didn't realize he was like kind of a big cameo guy in his movies. Not like big roles, but he likes to be a guy in the background in his movies. I think that's kind of fun, especially with like how serious he is and how much he hates Marvel. But I watched Taxi Driver, and so I get it. I get it. For a movie that came out in 1976, it's a cool movie. I did like it. Jodie Foster at like 14 years old, man, she was really showing her chops then. It was like, it was definitely a bit of an uncomfortable character for sure. Cause I think at his, at the root of his character, he's this creepy, fucked up guy. And maybe he's got PTSD. I don't know. He's fucked up though. And how he kind of gets away with it at the end where it gets turned around, and I don't know. It just like he fucking goes on a date with Sybil. He goes on a fucking date with Sybil and takes her to a porn theater. Like, man, that was fucked up. That was fucked up. And I like that movie that really showed the grime of New York at that time, which was, there was, such a big area of just fucking sex shows and, all that peep show nasty shit. Like apparently Times Square was nasty in the fucking 70s and 80s. So I watched that, and then I watched, R.I.P. Jimmy Caan. Jimmy Caan died, and I remember hearing on, I think it was a Marc Maron interview, but he said that the favorite movie that he did was called Thief, and it was a Michael Mann movie. It was, I think, Michael Mann's one of his first movies. And so I was like, fuck, I'm going to watch this movie. I want to see what Jimmy Caan liked so much about this movie. And it was, a pretty cool jewelry heist movie. Willie Nelson's in it. He's got two scenes. One, he's like dying. The other one, he's in jail and he's visiting James Caan. And it's the weirdest fucking scene. Because he's sitting so close to the glass. And the look in his eyes, I don't know if... Look, Willie was probably stoned during that production, okay? I'm pretty sure he was smoking some joints. Especially because he's not an actor, so he's probably nervous. He's acting with James Caan. I'd be fucking shitting bricks. But he was sitting so close to the glass, and he's playing like a father figure to James Caan, but I couldn't tell. It's like, does he want to fuck him? Like, it just, you got to watch the scene. It's just so, it really threw me off. I didn't know what the fuck his motives were in that. It was like he's coming like he's a lover that hasn't seen his partner because he's been in jail. It just, the look on his face and his eyes, and they're it's so close to the glass, and James Caan did. He's got a funny walk. I don't know what it is about James Caan. It's like he either walked like he's got to take a shit really bad all the time. And he's like, fuck it, I ain't shit more than once every 2 weeks. Fuck it. That's either part of his, maybe that's part of his, his acting process, I don't know. Or he just walks on his heels and he's like, I ain't ever fucking touching my toes on the ground. I'm a fucking heel walker here. I'm a fucking heel walker. From Brooklyn, I fucking walk on my heels. He's got such a peg leg type of walk. It's just, maybe I was a bit stoned when I watched it, but that's up for debate. It was so fucked up. It was just so fucked up. Okay, moving on. Okay. Speaking of like weird fucked up creatures, which Jimmy Kahn isn't, not like this fucking guy. So I don't know why this pissed me off so much. Mickey Rourke fucking came for Tom Cruise and Tom Cruise's career on a stupid Piers Morgan show. Just listen to this fucking melted purse.
When you see someone like Tom Cruise, grossing $1 billion with Top Gun Maverick, the sequel, 35 years or so after the first one, what do you think of that?
That doesn't mean to me. The guy's been doing the same effing part for 35 years. I got no respect for that.
Really?
I don't give it. Nah, that's really, brother. I don't care about money and power. I care about when I watch Al Pacino work and Chris Walken and De Niro's early work and
not his late work.
Richard Harris's work and Ray Winstone's work. That's the kind of actor I want to be, like Monty Clift and Brando back in the day, and a lot of guys that just tried to stretch as actors and be the.
You don't think Tom Cruise is a good actor?
I think he's irrelevant.
Okay, Mickey. Okay. Mickey Rourke coming for Tom Cruise. I don't know what the fuck's going on with him. He's had some surgery. He's looking like the fucking Mask villain that put on some body paint. He put on that Jack Nicholson fucking Joker makeup when he's trying to cover up his, stained Joker white face. Remember when you remember that scene when he had to put on like cream colored makeup to look normal, and he looked fucking insane. That's what Mickey Rourke looks like now. He looks like the Joker with that fucking grin at that meeting. He's looking fucked. I gotta say, he's looking a bit younger. I think it is. I can't really tell what age he is. He's kind of looking like he's in his 50s. I think he's in his 60s at least. He's coming for Tom. And look, I come for Tom too with some things. I think the Scientology shit is fucked up. I think, it's wild when we see these actors in Scientology. They are in a cult. They are in an actual cult. And they've been able to kind of exist and not, be fucking, trashed like most cult people usually do. I do think a lot of it is brainwashing with him. I think a lot of it is blackmail. I think, they got that fucking black book on him. I think he's stuck. I think it's, it's not an easy thing for him to ever get out of. There's been rumors that there's times where he's wanted to be out, and Tom Cruise makes me sad. I can't imagine the last 30 years without Tom Cruise doing his shit. And yeah, like he's done some roles that I think were not just him doing action-y stuff. He did some Kubrick. He did Eyes Wide Shut. He did Interview with the Vampire. I thought that was a good, he did a good take on that. Born on the 4th of July. Played the Vietnam vet. Like, he's done some good shit. Tom's done some good shit. And even his action films are good. But how can you not respect him in his, what he's doing now is he's fucking doing all those stunts. He's falling out of planes. He's fucking, you don't respect that, Mickey? Come on. Tom is entertaining. Put all his personal shit aside. Tom Cruise is an entertaining superstar. And looking at him, it's like, oh yeah, the wrestler, Mickey Rourke's back now. And then he wasn't back. You know, and he did one of those fucking big movies. He tried to do a big action movie, but no one really gave a fuck. What was he in, like Iron Man 2, 3? I don't fucking know. Didn't keep him on like this path of doing action films just because he's a big fucking buffed out looking wrestler. And I liked him in The Wrestler. But this guy, he seems fucked up. He seems like he's pissed a lot of people off in Hollywood. And I'll tell you this. I don't think Tom Cruise gives a fuck what Mickey Rourke has to say about not comparing him to Brando and De Niro. Earlier work. You did say earlier work. He's not a fan of Analyze This. He's not a fan of Analyze That. He ain't going to see Meet the Fockers. He's not doing that. Anyway, I just, as you know, I've talked about it before, but my goal in life is to get on Tom Cruise's cake list. He has a cake list. He has some coconut cake he loves. He never eats it. So he sends it to people and he mails these cakes to people so that they can enjoy for him. And they're not even like close friends. Sometimes it's just like he hits it off with someone doing an interview with him and they get on the cake list. And Tom, I just want on the cake list, man. I want this coconut cake. That's all I want. I don't want you to put me in a movie. I don't need to be in Mission Impossible. I don't need to do any of that shit. Just get me on the fucking cake list. I want the coconut fucking cake. All right, last thing talk about. I'm going to end with a little clip, a little tribute to a comedian in Toronto who has died recently. Kind of a big shockwave going through the comedy community. I'm not in it. I'm very well connected to it, obviously, because all my friends are in it. They are comedians. I was at one time, but clearly I am not. I have not done the work. So I do not ever refer to myself as a comedian. I refer to myself as a comedic actor or a character actor or whatever, but I never refer to myself as a comedian because I don't do the work. This is a guy who did the work. His name was Nick Nemiroff. I didn't know him personally. He was never on our other podcast, Confederacy of Dunks. He was a basketball fan. He played basketball. He was a tall guy. And he's like, he had like a deadpan quality. He's one of those kind of like, not quite one-liners, but quick jokes-ish because he has very slow delivery, deadpan. Very funny, very smart. You can tell from Montreal, died a couple weeks ago. And let me tell you, from what I know from the comedy community, it really shook him up. It really shook him up because it just came out of nowhere. It wasn't suicide. He wasn't feeling good. He canceled his set in Montreal. He went to bed and he died. And I don't know that, their family maybe has a coroner report or whatever. This guy's 32 and he's dead. And, it's really shaking him up because, I've thought about this in the past too with the community in Toronto, and they haven't really dealt with a lot of tragedy. There hasn't been a lot of young guns that have just died, whether that be, health, suicide, drugs, it hasn't really touched them so much in the city. As far as I know, as far as me having my, ear to the beat. So anyways, this guy, I don't know, it's a sad thing because this guy was 32 and, it just kind of seemed like he was really starting to come into his thing. And now all he's got is, he's got one album that I'll post a link to. I'll play a little clip from one of his tracks. You can get a little taste of Nick, and then go to Spotify and give his album a listen. And he's also on the Rap Battles Canada show, which Freddie does warm up for. That's my the host of the other pod I do. He does the warm up for Rap Battles Canada, and I know a lot of the people that have been on it. Ennis Esmer's been on our show. He hosts it. And it's pretty, I feel like there's some good burns. I'm kind of over the whole roast thing, but his stuff is great. I really like his stuff. I think it's like, that's the kind of shit that I live for. I like the misdirection burns more than anything than, just being a jerk and shit. It's like, it's like even watching fucking Jeff Ross's roast battles is like, I don't need to watch this. Who gives a shit? Okay, we get it, So anyway, the one thing I will talk about with this, which is a little fucking annoying, is because Nick Nemiroff died so suddenly, And, I've talked to Freddie about this and stuff, but like, it seems like the anti-vax community has, latched onto him. They've gone through his tweets. He made jokes about getting, when he got the vaccine and all this shit. And he was, I don't know if they're Russian bots. There's some talk that they might be bots doing this, trying to stir it up, but they're referring to him as being killed by the vaccine, and they're calling it sudden adult death syndrome. Sudden adult death syndrome. SADS. So, SIDS for the kids, SADS for the dads. So, it's not funny. It's not funny, but just the fact that they're like, yes, I can see they've coined this and they love it. And it just really fucking pisses me off because you don't know his health background. You don't know shit. Maybe he had something as a kid that he never talked about. Maybe, who knows? Who knows? He might have just had an aneurysm, which happens to some people. Maybe, who fucking knows? You don't know. All you know is he died suddenly, and now it's like, oh, it was this is what I'm so tired about with this fucking vaccine stuff. Everyone's hesitant about the fucking vaccine now. They're open up for fourth doses. Even I'm a bit hesitant to be, it's hard for me not to be like, can't I just wait until the fall and get the one that is more triggered for the Omicron virus? Like, it's hard for me to want to go get that one, especially because I'm so safe. I stay home. I've got 3 shots in me. I do get it. And it's obviously, there ain't no lines for the vaccine anymore. Let me tell you that. You can go in and get a fucking vaccine shot now. Where it's like the COVID-19 vaccines are now hovering into the flu vaccine territory where you can't fucking pay people to get the shot. I've been one of those people. I haven't gotten a flu shot even through this whole thing. I don't know what the fuck it is about the flu, because I'll tell you, I had it a couple years ago. I either had COVID or I had the flu way before this whole shit started. And boy, it almost killed me. It was bad. So these fucking anti-vaxxers, even like fucking Jamie Salé. Remember Jamie Salé? Remember that little figure skater, her eyes stuck together, 2 millimeters apart, fucking cave woman Jamie Salé? Remember the touching story, the Russians fucking judge and all that shit in the Olympics, and they got their gold taken, they got silver, then they got handed a gold. You remember 2002 Olympics, Jamie Salé? Well, now she's just a fucking anti-vax, nut bar on Twitter, which was like, not surprising in some ways. I don't know. She's like an Albertan, I think. I think she's from Alberta. I don't know. Could be wrong about that, but her eyes are fucking, she's like Cyclops, and she's got that one eye focused on any sudden death that happens. She's going to fucking fuel that flame. She's going to fuel that flame. Fuel it. Anyway, I don't know what the fuck happened with this comedian. I don't think it's fair to, insinuate what happened to him because we don't know. It's none of our fucking business. But at the end of the day, it's a tragedy. Nick Nemeroff, R.I.P. Go listen to his album, The Pursuit of Comedy Has Ruined My Life. It's a great title. It's a great title. Here is one of his tracks. It's only a minute long, so you'll get a little flavor of what Nick's about.
I went to a haunted house last St. Patrick's Day. So much cheaper. I like when you go to a haunted house and they make you put on a blindfold and they're like, oh, feel this. It's brains. It's disgusting brains. And you take the blindfold off and it's just spaghetti. I went to a haunted house in Sicily. They use Nona's secret recipe.
That's fucking funny.
You guys gotta touch it. It's so good.
that's Nick Nemiroff. The Pursuit of Comedy has ruined my life. Check it out on Spotify or I guess anywhere you can stream your shit. Yeah, too bad. R.I.P. Nick. Never got to know you, but was a fan from afar. So thanks for listening to Come Loose. And make sure you subscribe and all that good shit. Make sure you hit the like buttons and get on your podcatchers and everything else. And hey, hopefully I'll be back next week. Maybe we'll get that second one in July. Who knows? Who fucking knows?